Barry again from Media Law Group, and we are on the show for the Sex Lies Lawyers episode 2. Today we have another guest from Las Vegas, actually one of my friends, Evan Bellman, that is a broker. We are going to talk about some issues and the legal issues actually that he had, and also some other irrelevant things that possibly is interesting as well in the coming conversation and this episode. So let's ask Evan. Welcome to my show. Actually, you are on the Sex Lies Sex Lies and the Lawyers. Yes.
Thank you, Sam.
So tell me about yourself, Evan, a
Sure.
little bit.
Yeah. So look, I moved to Vegas in 1995 from Maryland. So I came out here. I was not even 18 yet, 17 years old. So I came out to go to UNLV, and so I graduated hotel administration, and so I start working right away at MGM Resorts. At that time, it was Mirage Resorts. So I started with part-time like this, with a headset on, taking reservations in the call center. Worked my way up, national marketing manager, national marketing analyst, administrator, etc. I was actually on the casino floor as a host for a little bit. Back in those days, these director positions were pretty hard to get. You weren't just placed in them, right?
Still are hard to get. Believe me.
Yeah. So it came time. They had just merged with Mandalay Resorts, and they said, okay, the big boss came and said to my boss, what does Evan not know, right? And he said, he doesn't understand casino credit. So they put me on the floor as a casino host to understand casino credit.
What's that?
So casino credit is when a player wants to come in and draw and establish a credit line to play off of.
Oh,
so
okay.
there's cash customers and there's casino credit customers.
They run your credit too?
Yeah.
It's like a loan?
Yeah. And that's the difficult part is, as a host, you're given lots of power, a lot of authority, and you have to earn your way to be able to grant credit lines. So you literally go through credit class to understand how to read a credit report, looking at what's a good score, what outstanding debts do they have, what's their employment, what's their history look like, all kind of things that you take into consideration.
Wow, interesting.
And so it's not to be taken lightly. So yeah, when I ultimately left the casino business, I was able.
What year was it that you left the casino business?
I left for good in 2000 and for good 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
What was your position in the casino, and which casino?
So throughout the years, I ultimately left the casino world. I was vice president of regional marketing for MGM Resorts. What that entailed is my office was located in Century City, Beverly Hills area, and MGM has branch offices throughout the country, and their job is to focus and send business to all the properties within Las Vegas, and also the surrounding properties in the regional areas. So my job in LA and surrounding was to funnel business from that area to all the properties in Vegas.
Wow, interesting. And as a casino floor, actually, or a supervisor, or you work in the casino industries, okay, let's talk about the risk factors and also the claims, okay? I'm a lawyer, okay? Yeah. I take the case of the casinos, okay? A lot I have with MGM, okay? Other places, okay? Wynn and other casinos in Las Vegas. Incidents happens, and sometimes they are not their negligence that cause it. Sometimes it's the client. Sometimes they are negligent, okay? There are good cases, bad cases, frivolous claims, non-frivolous claims, actually, against the casinos for the slip and fall or the assault and battery or other negligent security sometimes. So tell me, when you were at those casinos, actually, were you dealing with this kind of claims as well? You were familiar with this kind of cases?
Well, I mean, look, if it happened into my area, which was national marketing, which is kind of table games, is what it's called. So, at one point when I was at Bellagio, I had 110 employees. So I guess if it was in my department, that would fall through me. In Monte Carlo, I was on the executive committee, so I saw some more things. So yeah, to answer your question, look, if it was within my department, it would come to me first, and then, okay, where does it go from there? Depending on what the situation was. Is risk management involved? Is general counsel involved? Did it employ with an employee or without an employee? What's the level of the guest? Because look, if it's $1 million customer, that case is going to get treated differently in the beginning versus a retail guest that came in and was just having dinner in the restaurant that's looking to try and gain something.
Are you familiar with that case that the Cosmopolitan Marquis actually got jury awarded a verdict of $180 million against the security at the Marquis Club against Marquis, actually, for that high-profile guest at the Marquis? Are you familiar with that case? What happened?
Not Not that case particular, but look, it doesn't surprise me, right?
Yes,
Like
there was a claim of the concussion, and that person lost a lot of income and capacity to earn in that case, actually. And the jury awarded a very hefty, actually, award. I don't remember it was how much, but it was around 150 and above, actually. I don't know. They sell it after the jury award, I think, but it's confidential how much they sell it for before the appeal. But those cases happening, have you seen during your um, employment with the casinos actually that such any of these cases like the sexual harassment, like the a slip and fall, or the assault and battery, or negligent security, or excessive force by the casino employees, have you seen any of those, any incidents that you remember or you heard about it?
well, I'll do you one better, and I think I'm at liberty to talk to this because I won't speak to this. I won't mention any names or particulars,
Yes.
but at one of the resorts that I was at, I actually got called into, I got called by a detective, right? Called me down and said, is this so and so? And I said, yeah. And he goes, we have a case that's regarding two people that you work with at the property, and we need to speak to you. And I was caught off
You were
guard.
shocked.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
You were a witness or something to something?
No, so it
Or
turns
they
out
wanted to snitch on them?
it was my boss, my old boss, right, that had moved on to another property, that there was a sexual harassment claim being brought against him between him and one of the other executives that reported to him.
Okay, the underlying employees actually on their level. Okay.
So-
and what they asked.
I mean, you name it, everything. God, it was, it was quite some time ago, but they just wanted to know what's the meaning of their relationship, how much interaction do they have, were they ever alone, did you ever see them together, did anything ever seem off to you?
Was there any charges as a result of that investigation?
So here's what happens. At that level, the level that this individual is at, you don't hear anything after that.
Yes,
right?
usually they sell it right away. It depends on because of the bad reputation and the bad publicity usually.
It didn't make it out. I mean, when I went,
But he was fired as well, or no?
he was, he wasn't even at that property anymore. He was already moved on.
To another property
Yeah.
to protect the victim, actually, possibly.
I don't know if it was that. There was a lot of movement at that time, and it could have just been timing, or he went to that property, and this individual person stayed at the property that we were at. So were they mad they didn't get to go with him and go to it? It was a bigger property. It was a promotion. So there's some kind of frivolous stuff like that going on. Like, hey, wait a second, why didn't he take me with him? We kind of have this relationship going on, and he left me here. So who knows if that was really the situation?
Yeah, you don't know really
No.
behind the scene actually what's going on. Do you remember whether there was any lawsuit filed?
Well, she was
actually?
suing him. Yes, she was suing
It was
him.
a suing or claiming anything.
There was a lawsuit. She was
There
suing
was a
him.
lawsuit, public record.
Yeah, she was suing him, and obviously at that point, the general counsel of the property takes over, right? So I had to get
Yes.
involved with that. I was pretty young at that time, so I kind of taken back. I was like, it scared the shit out of me, really. I didn't know what was going on, and what do I tell him? What do I, what are you supposed to do? It's
Yeah.
your boss.
That's a reality that happens, and sometimes they are true, and possibly, yeah. So tell me about your current job. What do you do?
Yeah. So right now I'm in luxury real estate. When I got out of the casino, I'd always done real estate, enjoyed real estate throughout my time. Even while I was working in the casino, that was my passion. On the weekends, we work 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, and I would literally on the weekends before I had to work, I would just go in and drive around town and look at real estate. Like back in 06, 07.
It's a kind of retirement for you, retirement job, yes?
Well, it's a
How
lot
long
less
have you been in
stress.
the casino industry?
I spent 18 years.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
long time.
18
And what
years.
age, actually, 2019, what age you came out, actually?
For good, I left for good. I was 39.
39?
Yeah,
Wow.
for good.
Okay, so then
Burnt out.
burned out completely in the corporate life.
I will tell you this though.
How did you like it, the corporate life?
When you're young and ambitious and naive, all that goes together and it's great. But as you advance your career, as you put a lot of time into it, and you see that some of the results are different for everyone else, and the casino business, it's still a boys' club. Any way you look at it, it's still a boys' club. If you're in the club, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's
If
good.
you're not in the club, you're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah.
So
Was there any time during your employment with any casinos actually you felt that possibly I have to get the lawyer to negotiate some deals for me or get me out of here, or they did something wrong to me, these casinos or my employers?
you know, when they give you these contracts, they say take your time, look at them, have your lawyer review them.
It's
But
not
really,
negotiable.
right? But it's really like, hey, sign this thing now, or this is not going to be good for you. So, yeah, I didn't get to that point because I kind of knew where my bread was buttered for the most part, and really that contract's not changing. So,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
you just signed it without consulting the lawyer, yes?
Pretty much, it's job security. Those deals are usually three-year terms. And I was fortunate enough, back in 08, 07, when the recession was going on,
Yeah.
you were lucky to keep your job. You were lucky to get a raise. And if you got a contract, you better thank.
I was lucky to go to law school at that time because there was no job actually.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so to your point.
I changed my career because of the recession.
Oh, what were you doing?
I was a material science engineering actually,
Oh, wow.
and then I decided to go to law and I started studying at the UNLV.
Wow.
In 2010, I took some pre-laws. Actually, I already had my bachelor in engineering, and I went to paralegal school. I tested the water, and then I came out actually, and then said, okay, I can be a lawyer, so let's go to the law school.
Wow.
I went to law school at UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I finished my law school instead of the 3 years to 2.5 years. I clerked for the judge, actually, intern, extern, and then worked for a year. And then I started litigation, business litigation, and then I opened up my own firm in California and Nevada.
Wow.
Actually, personal injury, mostly civil litigation, and sometimes business litigation.
So with that being said, I have a question for you. So you kind of hit the nail on the head where I wanted to talk to you about today. I always found law very fascinating, right? Like, before I went for hospitality management to UNLV as well, I went to a college counselor and I tested, and they said, okay, you have two choices. You can either go to hospitality management or lawyer.
Oh, really?
Right? They said this is where you're going to excel.
You have a good customer service and a good client's assessment and the client's actually handling skills.
And I love to talk, and I just like to argue.
Wow.
Right? Like if I'm
That's
not
good.
right, I want to know why I'm not right.
So it's not late. Still, you can.
Yeah,
just
listen,
go.
I've been thinking about it. Don't
Yeah.
kid yourself. And after this experience, which I wanted to actually get your opinion on is, I was in a pretty serious car accident. Literally right when I got back from LA, and I
In 2019.
Well, I'd gone back from LA. I was in between real estate and the casino business, and literally right this road right here is Sunset. I got into a pretty nasty car accident right here, right on the 215 in Sunset. The girl ran 2 red lights, blew through the light.
Being drunk.
She was
High?
texting.
Texting. Oh
Texting.
man, that's worse.
Right. So like there wasn't. She wasn't drunk. They checked for everything. So, after it came out that that's what the culprit was, it wasn't that obviously there's negligence with texting,
Negligence,
right?
yes.
But there wasn't. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't high. She wasn't this. But she did run the red light. So long story short is they cleared me at the scene. We had witnesses saying it wasn't him. It was her. She T-boned me. I spun around. I went into a light pole.
Oh
bounced
man,
off.
it was a huge impact.
Oh yeah, I'll show you these pics. Yeah, they were surprised that I survived. Right.
Wow.
But look, this girl was in her early 20s, 22, I think 23. She lived at home, had like an hourly job. So when we went to assess the accident, her insurance was at that time the state minimum, which was $25,000. Right now it's $50,000. Right. And I had my underinsured motors, which I had just lowered from $250 to $100.
Oh my God.
So I start going through the process.
You don't know when you are going to use that coverage. That's the reason you have to always have in Vegas. Always you have to have a good coverage for uninsured motorists because some people are tourists. Some of them they are in other people's car that is not registered or they are not having insurance.
Yep.
And always you have to have that good uninsured motorist because if such a thing happens, at least you can get compensated for your injuries and your loss of income and other damages that you incur actually. But sometimes people think about the $50 per month lower or $20 lower and they change it.
Yep.
And that's the time that the accident happens.
Kick myself every day.
Yeah.
I took it back up since, but it didn't do me any good for then. Hopefully, if it doesn't happen in the future, it's there. But yeah, I kicked myself.
That's good. What happened? Did you get the lawyer?
So look, I had a lawyer. This town is everyone's got
full
a friend.
Of lawyers,
yeah, right. And so I have
billboards all around.
And everyone knows someone. And don't worry, we'll take care of you. So I have a family member that's still in the casino business. I got them a job because when I got to Bellagio, they had reported to me,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to go
That's
find
how
them
they
another
will find
job.
you.
So this person's still in it. So anyways, they have a good client customer that's an attorney. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. So I meet with them. Long story short, I ended up not using them because I looked at it. I talked to I have another friend that's an adjuster, and I showed her the pictures, and I explained to her, I was like, listen, this policy's 25. I have 100. Like, clearly I'm going to get 25 from them and 100 from mine, but like, can I get any more? Like, do I need an attorney? Like, is there more to get? Can you get water out of a
You
rack?
asked the adjuster?
Well, I know. I asked her
Of
like,
course, they are saying that you don't need any.
well, she was not for the insurance company. She was like a friend.
Oh,
right?
like a
But
friend.
I just asked it. I asked her of, hey, is there any chance of not collecting the full 100? She's like, no, you're gonna get all of it, right? Like, tell them you want the full amount, right? So, did I make a mistake by not
Yes,
using
you
the
made a
attorney?
mistake. Definitely, they are not going to pay you if you're not showing the evidence to them.
But could I have gotten more? Like, if I sued her, who would I have sued? Could I have gotten more? I collected as much as I could from both policies.
Yes.
Like, was there more out there? Did I leave low hanging fruit on the tree that I could have sued? And who could I have sued?
What year was it?
Well, this was 2000. It was March 31st, 2018.
2018. It depends because some people they have a minimum policy because they don't have any
Right.
asset. Yes.
Correct, yes.
But sometimes with the minimum policy, they are working for someone. They are within a scope of employment. Then the employer policy comes in. Usually, if you want to sell the case with the $25,000 minimum policy, you have to ask them to execute affidavit for you or ask for an examination under oath that they don't have any other employers. They were not acting within a scope. They were not talking to someone. Because if she was talking and getting direction from the employer to go somewhere, how do you know? Yes, and the employer was on the hook because she was on what time it happened during the timeline. And sometimes they are working for Uber, delivery, pizza,
Yeah.
or something. You don't know
Yeah.
what they are doing.
Yeah.
That's the reason that it's a job of the lawyer to make sure that there is no other resources to recover your damages, actually. So, yes, possibly you could get it, and possibly you should have given some part to the lawyer, but it was necessary. But you don't know really right now that you lost money or not because you never tested it, never asked them to give you the declaration of the no other assets or the not in the scope of work or something like that.
So here's where we're at. So I met with them multiple times, right? The lawyers. And
The lawyers?
This is another
okay.
question.
You had a lawyer, yeah?
Yeah, I did, but I said, listen, I don't need you guys because I'm getting 25, I'm getting 100. Like, are you going to get me any more money? And they couldn't say, oh, yes, we need to go to trial or we're going to get X amount more. Clearly, a lawyer's not going to say, I'm going to get you $500,000, right? Because then they put
Because
their
you
name on
don't
the
know.
line.
You can't,
Right.
as a lawyer, you can't guarantee outcome because you don't know the facts, you don't
Right.
know the policies, you don't know the assets. There is nothing that you
Yep.
can tell exactly.
So
What's your question exactly about that?
well, because in your opinion, did I f up and leave? Was there? I guess I'll give you some more of the background. She was 10:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. She was coming home from her job. She was a housekeeper. She was 22 years old. She lived with her parents at home in an apartment. So I assessed that as there is nothing more to get.
There
here.
is nothing more, and possibly your assessment was correct, but always you have to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. Yes, you have to get that page because later you find out is late.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank God that it didn't happen to you. Yes.
Yeah.
If you would have found out actually that she was working for someone, or she was working for Uber, or working for
Yeah.
any other company's delivery or something, or the Postmate or something, then you say, holy moly, I missed the opportunity because I didn't get the fair compensation for my injuries. Yes.
So
But now you
Yeah.
don't know. You are in suspense.
Yeah.
Suspense actually is, "Whoa, what happened?"
Well,
Exactly.
it wasn't like I made a decision in a couple weeks. We went through the motions, and it was probably a month and a half into it. And the lawyer hadn't even gone and got the copy of the police report yet. Right? They hadn't looked at it yet. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, is that a reasonable time? Should they have already looked at it? I went and got a copy of it myself, by the way. That's how I'm pretty anal.
Usually the lawyers, they do it. We do it, and we download the cameras on the street, actually intersections as well, to secure the evidence, because the job of the lawyer at that stage is an investigation.
Yeah.
Okay, to gather the evidence and make sure that all the evidence are secured. Yes, one of the evidence at that accident was possibly the EDR, actually, electronic data recorder of that other car, if there was a disputed liability. Because if there was dispute in the liability, then you need to know how fast the
Yeah.
she was going when the airbag deployed.
We had all
And
that.
you had all that.
That's
but,
why, yeah.
But it's recorded in the EDR of the vehicle, because the bigger accident like this, you have to secure the evidence, because you don't know how much the limit or how much recovery is going to be, and whether they are going to dispute the liability or not. Because the police conclusion is after the fact. This is the police that coming in and saying such a thing, and later they can retract it. Yes, based on the evidence.
They could have.
Yeah, always they can. And the police decision as to who is at fault is not always determinative for the jury, because you can discredit the police officer, say you made a mistake in determination. Do you agree? Sometimes in the position they come up with that.
Sure.
They say, yeah, possibly is right. And they retract their liability conclusion, yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come into an evidence, and the jury finds in the favor of the other party. So the job of the lawyer at the beginning of the case is to secure the evidence and preserve the evidence, yes, and evaluate the case to see that there is no harm in the future for the client, yes.
Sure.
Like the casinos, if someone falls at the casino, what we send right away, we send the preservation of evidence as to the cameras, even though the casinos, they have recorded and they save it for a year or 2 years. They have a retention policy for a long time, I think.
They tell you one thing, but it's there.
It's there. Always they keep it, yes. But it's still you have to send it, because if you don't send it, later they can say, oh, we deleted it by mistake.
Sure.
Okay? Especially in that marquee case, that the video security camera, in that case, in the back room, actually was miraculously deleted.
What do you know?
Yes, that was the beat up actually happened.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
So that's the reason, but that's one of the winning point of that case, that it was a security camera, apparently, if I remember correctly, that was deleted, and the jury was instructed to infer that it was against their interest, actually.
Oh, like why is it not here anymore?
Yeah, it's not here anymore. Yes, they call it spoliation of evidence rule.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the reason, that's the job of the lawyer at the beginning. Whoever that did it possibly did a good job in that case.
Sure.
Has to preserve the evidence, make sure that there are cameras, and they inspected that there were cameras, and they proved it to the judge. They deleted it. Yes, there should be something here. Yeah,
right.
That's the reason you need the lawyer. Okay, not always because they take the money or 1/3 or 40% or something out of it. And always you can negotiate those as well. The lawyers, some of them, they are negotiable, especially if you're a friend. Also, you could tell them, say, charge me less and please do this investigation for me. You know what I mean? Always you can negotiate. Yes. But some lawyers, they don't. But some lawyers, they do.
Yeah, they told me I was getting a special deal. It was 30% instead of 33%.
33%? Yeah, but it depends. If it's my family friend or something, I don't charge. You
Right,
know
sure.
what I mean? Or they charge 20%.
Right.
I don't know.
Time
But
is
it depends
money.
on the case, yes. If it needs to go to litigation and fight it, yeah, definitely you charge your litigation fees.
Sure.
But it depends. It's a common sense. How much money is available for the client to make it?
Well, that was my question. That's what I looked at. I said, listen, there's $125 at stake here for my accident. If it's 30% prior to litigation, 40% if we go to litigation, if I can't get more than $125, why am I paying 40%, nonetheless 30%?
Yes, it doesn't make sense.
So
exactly. And you got your money, yes?
Yeah,
that's good.
I
You went to the hospital, yes? Your hospital bills possibly was enough, actually, for $50,000, $60,000
It was,
in.
it was serious because, we had to go to trauma center because
Yeah,
where
so
maybe
trauma center, they're just sending you out is a $50,000-$60,000 to test everything, and they do a CAT scan for the subdural hematoma or other.
You name it. Everything. And you know how it goes, and maybe some people that are listening, they'll understand is, in an accident, I think anything over 35 miles per hour, that if one person goes to trauma, you all have to go to the same hospital.
Wow.
That's what I was told here. So we all had to go to UMC.
Based on what some people say, some people or the defense lawyers, they sometimes say, hey, 35 miles or 30 miles, it doesn't cause, or 20 miles doesn't cause any injuries to the person. Yes? And sometimes doesn't cause visual damages to the car, but it's major blow to your neck and the back. Yes? You went through this.
Yeah.
Yes? So you can tell it from your experience that 35, it's a lot. Yes?
A lot. I mean, that pounds per square inch pressure, or however they calculate it, is intense when two forces are going like that, and one comes to you from the side.
Vertical.
Yeah, it's a different impact, right? And I mean, she spent me spinning into the pole, bounced off. I hit another car. There was 3 cars involved in this thing. And to your point, I had some severe. I mean, at the end of the day, I ended up having a chest contusion, shoulder contusion, MCL damage, ACL damage, lower spine damage.
And you are under treatment. Possibly in the future, you need more surgeries.
Correct.
Yes,
Right.
And these are the things that if there was a more resources for your case, possibly,
Yep.
these are the things that the jury is going to decide for you. Yes, we are going to present it to the jury, say what you need in the future, even though you are not getting a surgery now, but within 5 years, because of the ACL tear, instability of your knee, and the meniscus tear, is going to be another surgery, or the knee replacement is possibly needed because of the cartilage is gone or something. So these are the things that the lawyers are going to tell you and to prove it for you in front of the jury. But in your case, there was no resources to recover from, and you were the smart person. You didn't just want to give the attorney's fees. That's good, but still you don't know that you properly investigated the claim. Yes, that possibly is worth to give the client, the lawyers, to some extent to investigate it for you to make sure that there is no other resources.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
Because there are some laws that even if you are on the phone talking to your employer, that's within a scope of employment. Possibly she was off, but she was talking to the employer to say that where she put this stuff on exactly, and she was distracted by that. Then that was the employer's liability.
Sure.
Yes.
Good point. Yeah.
So how it comes to the light? Usually by asking examination under oath or what you were talking, who you were talking to over the phone.
Yeah.
And then you take it the position of that person and say, yeah, we were talking about the missing stuff at work that she left and you didn't know. That's a scope of employment. So the liability becomes established as to the employer, and it's going to be a scope, and you're going to kick in another $1 million policy of the general liability policy that could cover your future expenses here. So still you don't know. You think that you did the smart thing. Possibly you did the smart thing. I'm just speculating.
Sure,
yes,
of course.
But I'm giving you the worst scenario that what could happen actually by hiring a lawyer at that point.
Right.
Yes. So you cannot blame yourself, but you made a decision based on the fact that it was available to you at that moment.
Right.
Now, possibly, if you get into an accident, you say, Sam, what should I do? Yes, that's completely that's completely different. Now you have a different perspective. What the role of the lawyer at the beginning of the case is exactly.
Yeah, because this has bothered me for ever since really I settled, right? And everyone's like, how much did you get? They thought I got millions. I'm like, because they looked at me, they look at the car, look at my bodily injury. I mean, until
the future necessary treatment that you need exactly.
Yeah. Until a couple months ago, I had back issues. The guy next door fixed it. I mean, thankfully for John and Ron. I mean, but to that point, medication and therapy. I mean, it was still going.
Thank God that you had the health insurance. If you didn't have health insurance, what you could do?
Imagine.
Yes, and most of the people, they don't have a health insurance, and sometimes they say, "Oh, why the health insurance is not paying for it?" They say because the jury is irrelevant. Yes, having a health insurance and not having insurance is irrelevant in determination of the juries as to what the future treatment is and who is going to pay.
Yeah.
Yes. They are not allowed to take a look at the insurance and the possibility of having a health insurance in the future.
Interesting.
Yes, that's a collateral source rule in the evidence, actually, that it says just ignore any insurance evidence. Don't ask about it. You are not allowed to know this person has insurance, health insurance, or the other party is completely insured up to 20 million or 5 million or something. You have to make a decision as to liability and extent of the damages. That's it.
Period.
Period. And you don't take into any liability, this person, defendant, is going to be bankrupt. It's not your business. You have to determine the value of the case and the liability for yourself. And whether he has a health insurance, who paid for it, no, it's not your job to know. You have to go take a look at the damages and award the damages.
Sam, you're hitting everything.
Yeah.
Because this is, I mean, whoever listens to this, I think they're going to be like, God damn, that was me too. I didn't have health insurance until 3 months before that car accident.
Yeah, most of the people, they don't have health insurance, and we help them to get the treatments actually on the lien basis. It means by contract for postponement, like the lawyers, like a contingency fee, but they just get paid anyway. But it's a client's responsibility. But they postpone it till we get the money.
So it comes out of the settlement.
Out of the settlement, the total settlement. All of them comes out of the settlement. But that's some people and the defense lawyers, they try to say that Oh, it's they did on the lean basis. The doctor has a motivation. Okay, what's the alternative? The person just go and borrow cash out of the credit card?
Right.
Okay, so the doctor is in this business actually and put it on the lean and are taking the risk. Yes. And they have an interest in the outcome of the case. Yes, they have an
Sure.
interest.
Of
But
course.
at the same time, look at the pros of it. They are providing the services on the lean basis to the person that doesn't have health insurance. Yes, and injured as a result of the incident. Otherwise, how he could get the treatments?
Sure. Sure.
And they use it against who? The plaintiff. They say, and ask the doctor. They say, hey, do you have an interest in the outcome? Okay, do you carry a lien in this case? Okay, and then you are biased. Yes,
Wow.
they are allowed to do it because
Sure.
it goes to the bias of the doctors that they have a interest in the outcome of the case. But some juries, if you have a good lawyer, are going to be explained. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to that. That's another way of the recovery, is another form of the payment. Ultimately, the client is going to be responsible for it, regardless of the
Right.
outcome. The doctor just postponed it.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Don't consider that.
Yeah.
Yes. And some juries, they understand it. Some they don't. They say, oh, this doctor is charging that much.
Yes.
You know, as on the limit. Yeah, he's waiting for it for 3 years to get paid.
Right, right.
Come
In
on.
that time frame.
And there is no interest on it, okay?
Right, right.
And they have to charge something more, a little bit more than the cash value.
Yeah.
Yes, because there's a lot of work on it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that still, I don't know
Right.
what happened in your case. Yes, I'm telling you what could happen and what
Yeah.
couldn't happen. But I cannot have a solid answer for you either way to say that you did a good job not to give in to your lawyer or hire a lawyer or not. I don't know.
How about
Really,
this?
I don't know.
How about this part? You'll appreciate this one. Maybe tell me if it borders on the lines of unethical or not. So I told them I didn't need them anymore, right? The lawyers. We had a couple meetings.
Yes.
Was it a lot? Not a lot. I went and got my own copy of the police report. We went over it together. So the reason I'm explaining these things is next thing you know, there's a lien put against me from the lawyer. Didn't tell me. Didn't say, oh, by the way, you owe us $2,800 and
It
whatever.
showed up
dollars.
on the check, yes. Then it showed to you
Yes.
at your door.
Yeah, when I got
and
the 25
payable
from,
to you and the law firm.
well, here's a bet, Sam. They had already taken their cut out, so I didn't know I had a lien against me. No idea. They didn't tell me you owe us X amount. I get my check from the Progressive was the at fault participant. I get 25,000 from them, but I didn't get 25. It's like 23 and change. I'm like, where's the rest of this money? They go, oh, your lawyer had it taken out.
They were not allowed to take it out without your consent. They should have send a check, and then you can negotiate with that lien actually with your lawyer actually.
That's what.
So usually that's a change actually for those cases, but still they should have not done it because
Right.
recently the laws changed. You have to send a certified registered mail receipt requested actually for perfecting the attorney's lien. Now, if it's not, then you don't have a priority as an attorney in a case to get paid even before the hospital, and the client can challenge that lien.
When did
And
that go
some-
into effect?
It was 2-3 years ago, I think.
just missed it.
Yeah, I think, and it should have been done actually, and we do it all the time. And we warn the client actually, hey, be careful. Something is coming to you is not extra, but the
Yeah.
law requires us to tell you exactly. We take 1/3 and the 40%,
Sure.
and it should be by certified registered mail. It's not extra. Okay, it scares the clients off, but we give them a heads up. Say, hey, it's coming in, but we have to perfect our lien.
Right.
Otherwise, our lien is not going to be perfected. We are not going to get paid. For example, hospital has a priority over us if we don't do it. Neither you or me as a law firm get paid before the hospital. Everyone gets actually the same line actually to get the money out of the
Right,
settlement
right.
if there is a limited resources and the money available to the everyone.
Sure.
Yes. That's a reason. Lawyers, they have their own problems as well. It's not something that easy. They say lawyers, they make easy money. Sometimes
yeah.
we lose money sometimes, but not always. Yes. But
Yeah.
overall should be making money. You are in the business of the brokership. Some deals are not perfect. Some deals are perfect. Yes. That's the same situation. Yeah. Sometimes you have to reduce your fees actually
Happened a lot
It
last
happened
year.
a lot last year because it's so competitive and people they want to buy it and get some cashbacks or something.
You got it.
Yes, and competing with the Redfin actually is giving a cashback to everyone
You
in the
nailed it.
industry. Yes, I know this industry. Yeah, so the same thing with the lawyer, but always reducing the fees in the lawyer field is not good. Let me tell you what. And I don't know how much time we have, but
You finish up on this.
and then let me tell you, some lawyers try to lure in the clients by reducing their fees with the tricks. Yes, they say, oh, if you come in, we just charge you 20%, and after 6 months, if it stays, it's 25%. If it goes to the litigation, is the 35. It goes to the 60 days prior to the trial, is 45. Yes, they are a different kind of the thing. Don't get hooked up on those fees on the paper. Really, ultimately, they cannot guarantee how much you are going to get. It's
Right.
illegal.
Sure,
Because
sure.
I can tell you how much I take, but I cannot tell you how much you take.
You don't have
Because
a crystal
whatever
ball?
that is left after my attorney's fees is between you and your doctors and the hospitals or the people that not got paid yet.
So who gets paid first, the attorney?
The attorney gets paid if they perfected their liens the way that I told you,
Got
yes,
it.
recently. Otherwise, no, they have to wait in line.
line.
In line with the other people. Even the clients possibly doesn't get paid sometimes.
Is it order? So if they didn't perfect the lien, is it in order of
Perfect lien, it means that it should be registered certified mail to the all parties, including your own clients. It should be received actually, and you have to put it in your file and show it that it was by the certified mail.
So if they didn't do that, does the distribution of the settlement go in the order of that it actually took?
Yeah, they took the attorney's fees first and the cost of the litigation. Actually, sometimes we advance cost actually.
Yeah.
And then the rest goes to the medical providers and the clients. And when we get the low, actually, and the medical providers, we negotiate sometimes as to the hospitals because hospitals getting charging $60,000. Sometimes they are greedy and they don't back off. And we have to interpret the funds to the court. And the court decides how much the medical providers and the clients gets.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes it happens because they are greedy. And the insurance judges say, no, they are not going to charge. And say, yeah, they are going to ask for the full amount of the bill.
Yeah, yeah. I went through
Yes.
some of that. I negotiated with the hospital. too.
If you are not having health insurance, the bills comes at your door is $60,000. If you have a health insurance, the bills comes at your door is $25,000,
Yeah.
and you pay $2,000. Yes, and they assert the lien still sometimes the health insurance for $10,000 against your case. Yeah,
Sam, you're good. Those
So-
figures were it.
Yeah, exactly. I know how they do it. UMC and the other hospitals, exactly. And we had that issue, and we learned it hard way that we lost the attorney's fees because we didn't receive that blue and the receipt actually
Right.
from the client and say, oh, it's not perfected.
Wow.
And say, no, you have to go wait in line like us as a hospital. Yep, we have our challenges as well.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, I could go on. I could do this for a couple hours because I still have so many questions for you. But I know, maybe you have me back again and we can go
Yeah,
over some
sure.
more. Yeah.
But still, I don't know. You did a
Answer
good
your que-
job, actually, not to pay that lawyer to investigate more for you or not. I really don't
Yeah.
know. That's something. Thank you anyway for coming on my
course.
show. Actually, Sex, Lies, and the Lawyers. And my name is Sam Hidari, and thank you
course.
for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.